What's up everyone? In this video I'm going over 4 simple composition tricks that you can start using right now. In this video I'm going to be talking about the rule of thirds, symmetry, leading lines, and framing within your frame. Now the idea of all of these rules is to make a much more aesthetically pleasing shot. And the greatest thing about them is they're very easy to apply, so as soon as you learn them, you can go out and start using them as much as you want. So first I'd like to talk about the rule of thirds. Now you may have noticed on your camera screen there's a grid made up of 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines that splits the screen into 9 equally sized boxes. The idea of the rule of thirds is to place your subject on one of these lines, particularly where they meet, so that your subject is either to the right or to the left of the photo. The idea is that it creates a much more aesthetically pleasing shot, and you can tell a better story with it. So in this photo, the building is the subject, and I have it where the 2 lines intersect, and this allows me to make a feature of the river and the railing in front of me, just to add a bit of depth to the photo. The next trick I'd like to talk about is symmetry, and the idea of this is to place your subject in the center of the frame and to have elements around them that are symmetrical. So say for example you can place your subject in between 2 lampposts. That will count as symmetry, and it might count as framing as well, which I'll talk about later on in this video. But this can also make for an aesthetically pleasing shot if it's used right. The next thing I'd like to talk about is leading lines. Now, the idea of this is to use naturally occurring lines in your frame to guide the viewer's eye towards your subject. So for example, in this photo I've used the tram lines as leading lines going towards the Lewis, and in this photo I've also used the tram lines going towards the building. So the idea is to give them a visual pathway to guide them towards your subject. The lines don't have to be straight either, you can have curved lines or crooked lines, but the idea is the same either way. Now the last thing I'd like to talk about in this video is framing. The idea of framing is very simple. It's to find things in your environment that you can use to frame your subject. So like I said earlier in this video, an example could be 2 lampposts evenly spaced out, or you could use an archway, for example. This trick can be a bit difficult to pull off, but when it's done right, it really helps your photos to stand out. Also, you can combine 2 of these tricks into the same photo. For example, you can have leading lines and the rule of thirds in one photo, and you can have symmetry and framing in the one photo. You can also use all of these tricks for film. One example of the rule of thirds being used in film would be if 2 characters are having a conversation. When their faces are being shown, one character is on the right side of the screen, the other character is on the left side of the screen. This is probably the most common use of the rule of thirds in film. And there you have it, 4 simple tricks that you can start using right now to make your photos and videos look more interesting. If you learned something in this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.